And we're live.
Good morning, BigSquareRoadRooter.com. What's your morning? Horn of Zeese live from the Bitcoin bin. I was calling it the Three Seasons room.
The All Seasons room.
All Seasons room.
And this is a
the
Three Seasons
Three Seasons room.
If these were hard, like removable windows,
Yes.
then it would be Four Seasons.
Ah.
Because in the winter, you do not want to be in here.
It gets cold, I guess.
It gets cold. It gets very, very cold.
Well.
All right. Looks like we, if you look up at the top left, we got number 5. You got 2 thumbs up already.
I have 2 thumbs up. So this is my first ever live chat.
Yes,
with
it is.
Ben. I said, how do you set up and do a live chat? Because I'd never even attempted it. And Ben said, oh, it's really difficult. Watch. 2 buttons, bang, we're done. We're live.
All right. Now, somebody do me a favor and send him a super chat, a small one. He's never ever seen.
I've never seen a super chat.
Him actually get like a super chat.
Well, you blew it with the small one thing.
All right, make it a big one. You can be the first one to ever send Big Square a super chat. And
hey, my mom.
Yeah, no doubt your mom's like, love you, baby. Here's $1.99.
So we are in St. Louis preparing.
Oh,
Wait,
there it is.
Look at that, my first super chat.
Australian, you get $32.99.
Sweet.
Oh, no. Look like $2.90.
With the dollar sign.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one. Another $2. There you go.
This is like capitalist dream right here.
Yeah, and it's usually what you watch for is like long ones that usually have like questions.
Okay.
Like, hey Bix, what do you think about Ronald Reagan's underwear?
Good question.
And then you're like, you know what?
I've never seen it.
I've actually pondered that.
Yeah. They're red, white, and blue. He was a
They're
great
red, white, and blue, exactly. Oh, welcome everyone. This is Big Square. What's going on, brother?
So this is on my channel, huh?
Yeah.
Let's welcome Ben. So guys, I'm gonna do more of these super chats. Ben's the man you want to know. Ben has a gigantic charity event, crypto charity event today in St. Louis. He talked to God and said, stop the rain. It's a little bit rainy right now, but it's gonna end in a couple hours.
Yep.
Was the
right
plan.
on time.
Right on time.
So basically what God is actually doing is he was worried that the area we were having our event wasn't clean. So he figured he'd give it a quick wash and wax before we get there.
And cool it down a little.
And cool it down a little bit. He's preparing the venue.
He's good. He can set up my music equipment.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
So last night, I don't know if you've seen social media. I don't think I posted anything, but everybody was posting. We were at a house.
Another super chat. 5.
Oh, Thank you. I'm interacting with my crowd.
You are.
They all lectured me last night because I got jaded early on with all the trolls, so I don't do much interaction. And now I'm going to do more interaction. So that's the plan.
And really what I've seen actually like doing lives is it helps draw people closer to you, because when you record one and you put it out, they're not really interacting more than they're just watching.
Yeah.
And actually going live, you know who will love this is your friggin' Patreon people.
Cool.
Your Patreon people will just
eat it up.
Eat it up, and it's because they actually like get to know you. They'll ask you personal questions, and they'll actually follow your life and go, hey Bix, how you feeling? You know, the other day you said you hurt your finger and stuff like that. And I think you'll love it.
Okay, I plan on doing it. I'm gonna have to wear my glasses next time because it's hard to see those. They're pretty small.
Yeah, usually it's closer. I usually have that right here where I.
There's 2 wide bodies here. We had to move.
Yeah, all these muscles can't fit in the same space.
Did you see that?
Hey, I got muscles, man. Look at them cannons. That's right.
But there is a topic I wanted to cover, and this is gonna be short because we gotta get to the site and set up. I wanted to talk about regulators coming down on all kinds of cryptos lately with Kin, with Veritasium. Now the talk is Ripple or XR, no, Ripple. XRP and Ripple. What is their deal? Are they as evil? Is the SEC as evil as we all know them to be? Don't forget, SEC, long history of corruption and fraud, all the way back to, hell, just think of Bernie Madoff's, was it his daughter? Bernie Madoff's relative married the person in charge of regulation at the SEC. I mean, how corrupt can you get?
That's the bloodlines actually tying in again. The elites, the controllers, they have the same mentality of generational control that royalty have over in Europe. They marry, they intertwine their families so that their lineage has the same and are put in the right schools, the right colleges. It's
a little like Hitler in the Aryan race.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of, there's lineage from Hitler's top brass in the education system.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. There's a reason that a lot of the Germans who actually came over to America changed their names, at least like their last name. Like Schultz went from Schultz to Smith.
Well, the Bush family changed their name.
Exactly. The Bushes weren't the Bushes. They were a German, I don't remember their name offhand.
Start with S.
Yeah, they're originally a German family.
It's crazy. But back to the regulation, a few things. If they're allowed, if we don't scream loud enough, if they're allowed to really stick their nose in, especially what happened in the past, there's no doubt that the SEC had dropped the ball on putting out any guidelines for cryptos. They did it on purpose, I believe, to slow things down, to add a lot of question marks around it. Hopefully, when these things go to trial, the judge will look at the SEC and say, hey, if you're so confident that all these ICOs didn't comply with the Howey test, why did you not stop them when they were happening? Especially the ones that registered as a what were they called? A non-regulated security.
Yep.
Or something to that effect.
Yep. Because even if you don't fall under the Howey test, you have to register as, we don't fall under the Howey test, but we're still going to register with you.
Right. And they didn't do anything. They didn't, and everybody in cryptos was screaming at the SEC, where's our guidelines? Because this is something new. And when you invent something new, you can't take the old guidelines that had been on the books for dozens of decades and apply them to something new. It's one, it's not fair, and two, it stops innovation.
This is how I've explained it. It's like having the invention of the flying car and then applying the rules of a regular road to it.
Or a horse and buggy.
Right. Well, the flying car analogy is you leave your house, you fly on a lane up here in
stop sign.
The air, right. And someone pulls you over and goes, hey, that road down there, you can only go 35 miles an hour.
It was like school zone you flew over.
Right. And you're like, I'm not, I don't ride on that road. I'm up here. I am in new tech. And they're like, well, you went too fast. And it doesn't apply. You're still traveling. You're still transporting yourself, but you're in an environment that the old rules of the old road aren't applicable. And that's what they're trying to do. And it doesn't work, and they didn't give any guidelines. So now these cryptocurrencies like Reggie Middleton and Veritasium come out, and he's flying his hover car, or him and Cliff are in his flying RV, and an officer way down on
Hey, pull over.
Yeah, pull over up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going 190 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour school zone from the road down here. And they're trying to write him a ticket now for doing that, and not just doing that, but doing that a year and a half ago.
It's ridiculous. And you keep an eye on the SEC's revolving door. These people at the SEC, they'll throw down these crazy laws like the regulation in New York around what was it, the license to deal in Bitcoin. The guy who ran that thing is now a consultant on how to implement the thing that he decided as a regulator. Complete revolving door. They go into the big banks, and it goes round and round. They're on each other's payroll, basically.
Yeah, him who you're actually talking about, he left the New York regulatory authority, and then he got a job at Ripple. He actually worked for Ripple for a while.
But now they're going after Ripple.
Well, but see, you see it as going after. I see it, governments do not, they let the technology come up, they let the corporations come up, and then they go after them. Well, really what they're negotiating. That's what they're doing. They're not trying to kill Ripple. They're just trying to get the influence. They want to make sure that Ripple is actually kissing the ring. That's how they control industry. And as you were actually saying, with the regulators leave the regulatory, they go in to these large corporations. Well, it's the reason it's a revolving door is because they actually come out of college, they go into a corporation, they learn the system of the corporation, they leave the corporation, they go into government, they bring in the regulations for the plans of the corporation that have already been laid out. They put in the regulatory structure, then they leave the regulatory structure, they go back and implement, and all it is a revolving door leading to a progression of legal and corporate structure that keeps them in control and actually leads the direction of the industry.
And it's true with the Treasury Secretary of the United States. Goldman Sachs is a revolving door. It's true with, what was the latest one? There was a big one I was just talking about on a video a couple days ago. Oh, Jerome Powell.
Oh yeah.
The head of the Fed.
Hang on one second, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, was in charge of saddling Deutsche Bank with this derivative bomb back in the 90s. He was at Bankers Trust, which was the big criminal rigging bank. Remember, when you follow the derivatives, you follow the manipulation. Derivatives are used to manipulate markets. They're used for a lot of things, but mainly to manipulate markets. Back in the 1990s, Greenspan's plan was, let's unregulate the derivatives to give the bankers enough rope to hang themselves. Absolutely hang themselves. And voila, you have a multi-quadrillion-dollar derivative bubble that there is no way out. That was the key. Greenspan tried to crash the system with his computer programs in 1987. It wasn't big enough. In the early 90s, in the tech boom, remember, he was in charge of giving out free money. Keep interest rates low for way too long, give the banks enough rope to hang themselves that explode the system. Clicking a mouse on a computer. The last attempt was September 11th, 2008 at 11 o'clock in the morning. I think the next attempt is coming up very soon. So hang on to your hats, my friends, because it's going to get crazy. Ben's out there loading the car right now. So we do have to make this short. I do want to say, anything more you want to say on regulation? We could have a much longer
Oh yeah,
discussion.
regulation is really just making sure that the existing power structure remains in authority.
Yeah, and my take, I'm kind of on the Jeff Berwick camp. We'd been better off without regulators because people can make their own decisions on what they should invest in. Yes, a lot of people will get frauded and things like that. Then it would make it harder to invest, which is actually not a bad thing. It would make people think for themselves and make their own bad decisions and stop blaming people, because all the regulators do now is run cover for the manipulation that's going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. If you got rid of the regulations, it would require the investors to educate themselves, and
Which they should do anyway.
right. But with the regulatory structure, they have this. They have a false sense of security, and that lacks, or that relaxes their effort of education. And we have fraud is, there are laws against fraud. We don't need
Two different things.
regulators, right? We don't need regulators regulating an industry when we have laws of prosecution of fraud that will punish him. And that's all we need. We don't need regulators. We need an honest judicial system.
Yep. And don't forget, it's not only the SEC and on this JP Morgan silver manipulation thing, it's the FBI. So,
Yep.
anyway, we'll see everybody out there today. It is, what is it, August 17th at, what was the name of that park?
The Officer Blake Snyder Park in St. Louis, Missouri. It's right off of Lindbergh and Highway 21. If you got your Google Maps, type in Lindbergh and Highway 21, and the park is literally half a mile from that intersection.
Yep. And if you need the actual physical address, go to bitcoinbin.io, and there's a little tab, I think it says Meet Me.
Yep.
Meet me.
Bitcoin.
I thought it said Eat Me at first, but no, it doesn't.
Well, that's
another
back
option.
in my wild days. All right.
Anyway, we will see you out there. It starts around
11,
and goes till 5-ish.
5, 6, 7.
We'll
9,
party all day and all
12.
night. So be there.
Be there or be square. Love you guys. Or actually be there, or actually be Ripple, which is square. So
I didn't say it, Ripple people.
that's right. Love you guys. And then when you're done, you
click
hit
off.
that X. You hit